Thank you very much for joining me, Double Lift. Wow.
How's it going?
It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy to have you here. I have a super interesting segment in the game where you and Busio decided to send it bot lane, trade 1-for-1 your support for the enemy AD carry, which in my opinion is a great line of play. So we're going to see soon enough that we're going to ping Lulu. I wanted to ask you, is this something that you're talking about when they recall? Is this something that you're reacting to when you see Lulu? You can't bring your jungler down, so what gives you confidence to make this play?
I would say, like, from this point, we could actually just insta-push the wave and still make it in time for Herald, since Herald actually does take quite a lot of time. So, like, right here, even though I use my E, I think we could, but I've seen too many times, like, from my perspective, this is obviously up to everyone's, like, experience in the game. It is way worse if the enemy AD carry is diveable. Like, you should just dive him, kill him, 450 gold, right? I mean, obviously, I think Alan misplayed here and took one too many turret shots.
Sure.
But, and then you also get 2 plates. So the overall gold that you're getting and denying, like, look, he loses not only these 10 creeps, but he loses the entire next cannon wave. Like, I mean, it's a 1,000 gold swing, and can the enemy team realistically use Herald? I mean, 90% of the time that you're playing these kind of matchups, Zeri, Sivir, you're using Herald to accelerate bot lane. Like, what do you do when Sivir is so behind? So I feel like Immortals made a bad decision, we made a good decision. Maybe he thought he couldn't get dove because it's like Yumi.
I think so, yeah.
But, you know, the support can almost always die, like suicide for the 1-for-1. And that's something that I think we're really good at doing is like, it didn't really show in our C9 game, but I think we're actually really good at making like 1-for-1 trades and celebrating off of it. Yeah.
It's actually something that me, back in Fnatic with Hylissang, is something we did. So we would dive bot lane when I was jungling, and we'd call it kill the king. So it doesn't matter how many pawns you lose, well, ideally 1-for-1. But on a big wave like this, you kill the king, the enemy AD carry, loses the whole wave, game's gonna be great, especially in a matchup like this. And didn't have anything too interesting. However, with a gold lead, it does look like Zeri takes over team fights. I wanted to ask you, when you're piloting the Zeri champion, first time back in competitive Zeri in a meta, it's been a while. I wanted to ask, how do you react when you know the fight is looking winning? Because obviously Zeri, once she got Ghost on, once she has her ult active, it's pretty easy to take over a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think they are trolling pretty hard, using stuff on anyone except for me. I don't really understand like why you would do that against Zeri. What am I saying in the game though? I'm usually saying like front to back because my teammates like to just go in and suicide for no reason. That's just for some reason the way that we play. And I'm playing an actually useful champ this game, so I can carry if they're not focusing me. But I think in normal circumstances, like you should, as an AD carry, like you should know where you want your teammates to be around you, obviously. And here, I think everyone was positioned very well. Everyone was ready, aware, like, oh, if they go on anyone except for me, we can just chase them down. So, I mean, it's just Zeri things. I don't think it needs much explaining. Like, if you don't kill her the first 2 seconds of the fight, she's probably gonna carry.
I agree with you. How does it feel coming back in competitive, playing such a powerful champion, right? I do feel like the meta is not as Zeri dominant as it was last year, but for a hard carry player as yourself, it must be really nice.
Yeah, I mean, how does it feel to come back? In the beginning, I had a hard time, like, with my confidence, I would say. I'm like, I don't know if I'm good. 2 years, long time to take a break. You know, like any pro player that takes a break, it can be kind of nerve-wracking to come back. But surprisingly, like, I don't know, I scrimmed against all of the AD carries in the LCS. None of them are particularly interesting to me. Like, I was expecting, like, bigger challenges, I guess.
Okay.
But so far, I feel like I'm just like slotted right back in and I'm still one of the best and I have a lot of room to improve.
Awesome.
Special shout out to Jan on TL. I think he's actually quite good.
We got to see that today, right? Like his Lucian was keeping the game alive.
Yeah, I think that guy is actually quite good and really promising. Other than that though, everyone is a little bit disappointing. I was really expecting to get like completely smashed, but I don't know, I guess I still have some skills left. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like, they are good players, absolutely, but I was definitely expecting a little bit more from them.
Wonderful stuff. It's I hear 839 days since your last performance. Well, yesterday, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Oh, last win, actually. Sorry, specify 839 days.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's actually really impressive. I'm happy to see you back on stage. Thank you very much for joining me. That's it for us. This is going to be This or That next. Thank you very much for joining me, Double Lift. It was wonderful.
Kobe, what are you doing? Get over here.
Didn't say it's instantly.
What are you doing?
And why are you taking my spot?
What you said that's your side. Are you kidding me? You said you're always on that side. That's why they put the earpiece over here.
I am always on this side.
I started over here.
Start the slides, chat.
Okay.
Welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Jat. back to our origins.
Yes.
It's 10 years ago, we started the show.
We have.
And you
it
left.
didn't really matter
He
which
left
side we're on.
multiple times.
We have 9 slides, but we're time boxed before the next game, so we need to move fast.
Oh, let's go.
All right, which team has the most wiggle room in the standings? COG, Dignitas, or TSM?
Oh.
You need to tell me what wiggle room means.
Well, I mean, it's very self-explanatory. You can wiggle up or you can wiggle down. I feel like if you don't get this, chat, we're gonna have some issues on this show.
Okay.
I say CLG coming into it, but TSM are making a very good case for themselves because I had them very low, but they're 2-0.
Yeah, so if it's based on the rank they are in the standings, TSM is first, and I think they can wiggle a lot from that spot.
You think they can wiggle all the way down to 10?
It's possible. That's the most wiggle room. It's definitely that one.
Okay, next slide. Work-life balance is a mirage from Core JJ. You worked with Core JJ.
I did.
You were coaching Team Liquid.
I take offense to this slide.
Uh-huh.
Are
Work-life
they
balance.
saying that I am the one who doesn't want to work? Like, what is this?
I didn't even look at the Photoshop.
This is not my life, guys.
Chat was the problem. Core JJ is the solution. Boom. It's really cool though for Team Liquid. They've been very open. Their strategy is to outwork everyone. And there are, people that are gonna fight really hard for work-life balance. There are also people that will say, if you are going to be the best in the world at anything, then you have to sacrifice that and throw that out of the window. I will go with Core JJ because look at Jad over here. What's he winning?
I will say they're 0-2. So hard work doesn't pay. That's all. So I'll just disagree for now.
You're right.
Slide number 3. We're going way too slow. Is the cat finally dead? Dead cat. Cat is alive. Yuumi. Big nerfs.
On the next patch, Yuumi is for sure dead. Because
cat.
So Freak did a video where he was talking about the philosophy behind the changes, And he's talking about, so Yuumi players, they could just out-trade the enemy support, autoing them. So he nerfed the health, he nerfed the attack damage, nerfed the range when you don't have your passive.
Yeah.
They also nerfed the scaling. There's no more AP ratio on the zoomies, and the extra stats that she gave just by being on someone are way lower. So I'm very thankful they're nerfing that. That took no skill. I think it's dead.
It reminds me of Zoe. It reminds me of Evelynn. Basically, any champion that has been nuked in the past, it's destroyed so it can be built back up later. I completely agree it's dead. Which rookies are best set up to thrive? 100 Thieves or TL?
I think these are both good answers. They're both set up to thrive. I have heard, by the way, with this extreme work schedule that Team Liquid are doing, the key to me is that all of them are happy with it and they're all bought in on it. It's very different if they're like forcing people to do that, but they all signed up for it. They all want to do it. So they are definitely grinding. I think the 100 Thieves are really set up for success too, though.
So you're going with 100 Thieves, and I do have one question. I've been away for the show for a long time. These used to be labeled this or that.
It's this.
Both of them say this or that.
And that.
It is that. But it says this or that.
It's always.
It's left to right.
When we started the show, this was always
they were
that
labeled.
side.
I'm still saying TL Honda because of the hard work and how it's going to pay off in the long run. It hasn't been a good start though.
So you disagree with the hard work slide before?
Because of the slide, not because I disagree with hard work.
Will Double Lift be a top 3 AD carry in spring? Yes or no? This is a frightening Photoshop job that they've done on this one. I want to get this off my screen now. So I'm gonna say yes, get it off my screen.
I'm gonna say no because
I don't want to see that anymore. Oh my God, my eyes.
Why was it so weird? Okay, which one trick will get you furthest right now? Olaf, Kassadin, or Maokai?
Maokai.
One trick.
Maokai and Kassadin are super OP right now.
Yes.
So I say Olaf is out of the question.
Yes.
Kassadin is better as a counter pick. Maokai you can pick with any teammates against any team, so I'm going Maokai.
I don't know which one is banned more. Because you can't one-trick a champion that is banned.
Fair.
And I think every solo queue game I'm in by now, Maokai's banned. He's 55% winner.
You have to go with Olaf. Then you have to go with Olaf.
It is actually
Olaf is never banned.
This. And was that the other thing? What is this game, Kobe? What have you done to it since I've been gone? It needs to be clear.
First of all, I didn't do anything to it. We got producers.
More unexpected, COG 2-0 or TSM 2-0?
More unexpected is...
Oh, no. COG had some big wins, though. They beat Dignitas and TL.
This is for sure more unexpected because there's always a wrinkle of, hey, CLG could beat anybody. At least I expected good things from CLG.
I am more surprised by the TSM 2-0.
Yeah, more surprised.
I had them 10th in my power rankings.
We zoomed through these. We're ahead of our time,
It shows how wiggly they're going to be. Yeah, we said 9.
We finished? They told us to be quick. You have 9. Oh, you better get to all of them.
Yeah.
Smurfed it. Hey, well done. Your first one back.
There's another one.
Oh,
Come on.
We're not done yet.
Count to 9. Best band member. Spica on the triangle. Vicla on the recorder. Prince on the mark.
I actually laughed. You know, usually it's a snort or a chuckle. I actually laughed when Spica came out on the triangle.
Yeah.
I said for sure Spica on the triangle.
This is nice. Like
I like these moves though.
I give
maracas are fun.
They all really committed.
There's not much you can do with a
10.
quarter.
It's
though.
this. Yeah.
All right. While I run back to the caster area, we are going to give you a view of part of FlyQuest season, starting with the music video we just took all those clips from. Well done, Avali.
We flew through that.
New team coming into the scene. LCS ass-kicking machine. 5 faces that you ought to know. And if you don't, let me give you an intro. Come and meet the new FlyQuest. Put the rest to the test. And you know what we're here for, to win the LCS. Impact coming into the top. In the jungle, Spica's not gonna stop. Vicla shining bright in the mid lane. Prince and A are dominating the whole game. Come and meet the new FlyQuest. Put the rest to the test. And you know what we're here for, to win the LCS.
Hey! What's up, everybody? We in the Riot Games arena. It's just me right now, though. I don't know what to do with myself when it's only me up here and no one's by my side, but I have a bunch of fans here. Hi! Thank you for keeping me company while Kobe was doing other things. Welcome back!
Is that a Immortals thing?
I don't know, it's, you know, sometimes you ever, like, need a stretch between this is how I, like...
It's Immortals colored. That's some ideas there for me.
I have a bunch of different colored ones. Maybe I should bring them all and just, but, you know, for now...
Okay, so
that way.
who won this or that, me or Jat?
Well, I have to say
You're about to
because
cast with me.
Yeah, it's always gonna be you, buddy. Let's go. Now, who wins between FlyQuest and Dignitas?
I mean, we sent in our predictions. I did predict FlyQuest. Sorry, Dignitas. You can prove me wrong, though. Let's see it.
So we'll see how things come through here. I have to say, I think when you're looking at all the podcasts, all the takes, all the power rankings, FlyQuest has been extremely hype coming into this new season for good reason. Dignitas, we really want to see what these pieces can do together with one another. Got a little bit blasted yesterday, but have an opportunity to turn things around.
Yeah, Dignitas have some fan favorites over there, signing Santorin and Jensen. Almost feels like this offseason also, you know, with the lowering of some of the player salaries and the influx of new talent as well, it was a bit of a shocker for people that Dig were able to pick up some of these superstars of the LCS, you know, long-standing members. Definitely want to see some good stuff out of them. Always a fan. But I have to say, FlyQuest, if you're talking about star power, really big signings. We saw yesterday, Prince especially had a really big game on the Zeri. Impact, actual top lane GOAT of the LCS. See what they can do this time around. Looks like we did get the Kassadin ban and the Maokai pick off of our this or that slides. So my answer of the Maokai actually alive.
So Spica, second game of the weekend here that he's piloting the Maokai. So strong, actually got first blood against the reigning world champion yesterday on the pick.
Yep, definitely a very powerful one right now. People will talk about it a lot, but in case you have not experienced it, Demonic Embrace, very, 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 very strong, has been for a year and a half. Did
Changing
get nerfed.
Yep, changing.
Did get nerfed on the B patch, but Maokai as well also got nerfed on the hotfix B patch, so not an issue there. On the response, Sejuani here, woohoo, double tanks as far as the junglers go. Not going to be super exciting there, but Santorin has always been quite a good tank player, and especially with Sejuani, does go for a lot of early ganks. So maybe an early mid lane gank there for Jensen is in the cards. I haven't been super impressed with all the Varus. Varus floating around right now. Everybody, the majority of players at least, leaning towards the poke builds. On hit is definitely still viable, but it has not felt as oppressive thus far in the LCS as it has elsewhere.
When you're looking at a lot of these bot laners that have been flexing around and being very utility-oriented, you're looking for things like that Chain of Corruption and beyond to really get that lockdown, but haven't necessarily seen the pop-off or payoff in that way. FlyQuest.
K'Sante, baby, locked in immediately here. Impact gonna be on it this time around, and this is a little bit of a turn. You know, we've been seeing a lot of the Jax blind pick, a lot of the top laners. Yes, you know, K'Sante is OP, but so is Jax. So if you have two OPs, Jax definitely scales better for later. K'Sante has more power early on, and just gonna avoid the matchup altogether here for Armut as they lock in an Olaf. Sejuani and Olaf technically interchangeable between Santorin and Armut, but I would say 95% of the time you'll get Sejuani jungle, Olaf top into the K'Sante.
Especially considering the type of player that Santorin is. Obviously very formidable on both of the picks, but you imagine maybe the start here with Dig really looking to facilitate the rest of the team in the way that some of these other victorious teams have. But now getting into the second phase of bans, no Zeri this time around. Obviously, Yumi was banned away quite earlier, but for Dignitas, they still have definitely some picks that they're looking to take with the support later on, and FlyQuest as well. No Cassiopeia for this one.
No Rise either, no Cassin either. So again, the Seraph's Rod of Ages stackers for mid lane taken off very early on. Caitlyn will follow Zeri with the bans here. So it looks like Dig setting themselves up for pretty strong pushing bottom lane regardless. Karma still available as a support pick. I would love it from the side of Dig, Karma with Varus, but also being able to speed up and shield you know, these frontline camps, Olaf and Sejuani really benefit from it as well. They really wanted to go heavy into poke. Heimerdinger will come out. That's off the table again as far as these pushing bottom lanes do go. And with Ashe already still being banned, I feel like the Karma is going to be pretty high prio.
Going kind of down the list as we do get some of these bans. Glad to see the Heimerdinger go. The pick that kind of set the trend for the direction that we have seen bot lane go over the past few months, towards the end of the last season. Akali locked in here for Dignitas.
I know I've seen a lot of Sylas versus Akali over the last year, but I personally enjoy that matchup. It's so fun to watch. It's more exciting than a lot of the other stale mid lane metas that we've gotten into, you know, like Corki Azir all the time. So Akali having some kill pressure early on, Sylas having outscale threat later on. Here's our Karma pairing with the Ezreal combination with Prince, the double poke. We've seen how effective it can be, and we will see about it this game as well.
A little bit of Ezreal coming out yesterday. It's just one of those picks that a lot of bot laners are going to feel comfortable on when you're wanting somebody that's able to poke through and that Karma lock-in. So Dignitas looking for their last pick.
And it's just so safe when you're facing the front line that wants to run you down with the Olaf Sejuani. Having Arcane Shift is so incredibly valuable. And since they're the ones that got their hands on the Karma, stealing the Karma away from the Olaf side, should have plenty of safety here. I definitely like how this actually turned out with the champ select for FlyQuest. We'll see if Dig can actually upset this. I would say maybe, yeah, Santorin looking to play off of Armut early. Sejuani and Olaf has a very powerful 2v2. Could be an angle for Dignitas to try and surprise FlyQuest, attack early on. Because honestly, the other ones are going to be a little bit more difficult. Maybe Jensen on the level 6 there with Akali early on has a bit of an advantage in the all-ins with Sylas before Sylas really gets to scale, get that ability haste, get the rest of the ranks into the W.
So if you're looking at Dignitas to capitalize upon the solo lanes early for FlyQuest, what do you think is their greatest condition that they're trying to play around and set things up for?
Honestly, I think it is going to be Spica. Spica has done so well controlling enemy junglers. First game already, or last game was on Maokai. Very, very good job of him keeping track of the enemy jungler, grabbing the first blood as well for the team, and then setting up on objectives. As long as he kind of controls and neutralizes Santorin, I think it looks pretty good for them.
Spica definitely coming in with a lot of fire this season in the FlyQuest content, saying, quote, "I just want to prove to fans that I can be the best again," end quote. So wanting to get back to that MVP form in the eyes of many, here with the rest of FlyQuest facing off against Dignitas with a lot of great pieces wanting to come together. Interestingly enough, too, so C3 for FlyQuest grouped here. Armut venturing on forward. And he's in the center of them all. Burn down, slippity slap, first blood to Prince.
Very well done research here by FlyQuest, coming in with the prep. 3-person stacking, waiting for Armut to walk in and get that early vision. Nicely done here. Don't know if that came from pure scrims analyzing or analyzing Armut tendencies here, but 3 stacking there while Maokai, Spica himself, was bottom to try and help get that bottom side vision. Really good opening from FlyQuest. Nice prep on the level 1 is rewarded. First blood money.
Very well read for FlyQuest indeed, Kobe, and something to energize them going into the rest here. While that was going around top, Dignitas taking that chance to get one of these aggressive wards so they can allow themselves a little more of that intel, with Spica specifically starting on that bot side, handing that knowledge over.
All right, gave up the first blood, but went back and got that freaking ward down.
The ward! Go with the ward! Yeah.
Objective completed. They have full knowledge of the blue buff. Raptor start, of course, here for Spica. Maokai going to do the red quadrant clear, as Dignitas will be aware. Here's a replay. Oh, do we want to replay it? Oh, this is what it feels like to be Armut. See, I would have just insta-flashed. As soon as I get hit, I'm like, ah!
Oh, no!
He decides, though, to save both summoner spells. He is running Ghost and Flash. So we will see in the first 5 minutes of this game if he's able to make a big play with his Ghost Flash, because there was no instant panic as soon as the skill shots came out of that brush. He decided to save them.
Keeping calm, cool, and collected in that instantly chaotic moment in the 1v3. So Armut still keeping his summoner spells will enable him a bit more in this lane. And the rest of the map looking pretty solid. Santorin clearing on this Sejuani on the top side. He's who we're looking for to see where he wants to bring the most pressure, and maybe the solo lanes being the place to do so.
Spica again. He clears red side. He prioritizes mid vision for Vicla. In this Sylas Akali matchup, it's very, very important that he doesn't get ganked early. Akali can definitely snowball it. The sapling here, huge value. Spica, just as I said in the intro, done such a good job, even with the enemy invading and getting these wards on him, to try and control and track the enemy jungler. Help out Vicla there with the extra vision. Ward is cleared out, but tracks him once again, hits him with the Squire's Bloom. Also, I do kind of like the fact that in the preseason, the little changes to jungle camps, it's actually not a big deal if your camp resets a little like that. Just go back in the circle within the leash range and finish up where you left off. Whereas before, if you are doing the long leash towards your next camp that you're trying to clear and it actually goes for a full reset, you are pissed and you actually lose a lot of time.
A bit of a quality of life improvement, anti-tilt there for junglers. And Spica throwing down some saplings wherever he goes. Saplings are just so annoying when you're on the opposite side, especially as you get later into the game. And it shows how much that went on a pick like Maokai. You're not just thinking about the in-the-moment play of aggressing, you're trying to set up for the team, and so imperative to their proper objective takes later on.
Yeah, so good stuff so far here. From Spica, from FlyQuest. They've got the first blood money nicely spent there by Prince as well. He's got his tier stacking at 69. Just 6 over here. Nice. Has a very powerful recall with the Sheen as well. So maybe we'll get a little look of the bottom lane and some more impactful poke coming out with the Sheen empowered Ezreal Qs and the Karma. Top side though, here he goes, our Ghost.
Santorin wanting to offer some more of this pressure, looking for the slam down. The stun is good, and the flash out. Impact trading a sum for his life. Both summoners used by Armut.
That right there was the determining play. That is our answer. Was there going to be a successful use of the Ghost Flash within the first 5 minutes of the game? Almost. If they would have gotten that kill, I actually think it definitely would have been worth it for Armut as far as giving up the first blood money level 1 and then being able to get that here. Now, Impact teleporting right back out to lane. Kind of no problem though, is able to hold the ranged minions here.
When Dignitas are proactive with those sums, I mean, you have Ghost, you have Flash, and those are what expelled, then Impact can approach things a bit differently from here on out with Santorin having already spent that time. All the while, FlyQuest, with that knowledge of that attention on top side, start to bring down this Drake. And a last hit will do it. FlyQuest securing that for themselves.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, Spica back-to-back Maokai games. It's not the most exciting champion for junglers to play, but while it is super strong before the hotfix patch comes in, he's happy to do it, and he's happy to do it really, really well. So acquiring objective number 1 here with the Dragon for the team as well, been able to influence and navigate the vision for his solo laners quite well. I think things for FlyQuest are chugging along right according to game plan.
Pinging over on this bot side, maybe a bit wary of where Santorin may be setting up next, but currently spending a bit of time in his jungle. Jensen position, Spica still hovering around this riverside, taking a lot of damage. Vicla slamming onto him. Spica and Impact now ready to collapse. The flash out for Jensen. But he goes in. Vicla, that's sick, bruh.
That is what people wanted to see when they heard Vicla was coming over to the LCS. He gets the kill already on the Sylas side. And that is 2 stacks in the Darksteel. That is not bode well for Dignitas.
Oh, your 2020 Rookie of the Year in the LCK making plays.
Yeah, take a look at this collapse. Spica from the bottom side, pings spamming all around. Sante comes down here, Impact wants to help out. Jensen, he's over, doesn't get the part in the shroud right there, so has to walk his way back, and Spica on the Maokai with the AoE was able to see him and get enough damage for Vicla to finish it. Beautiful stuff from him with the flash, stolen ult, and W to finish off the kill and also leech up enough life to get out from under the tower.
So overall, some really nice plays by FlyQuest, Kobe. I think people had high expectations, but when we saw them
yesterday, at number 1, so I have
yeah.
very high expectations.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like 1 or 2 is what you're seeing on everyone's power rankings, and it's for good reason when you know what Vicla can do. Prince as well being so hyped.
And I think people, it's very difficult because you don't have access, you know, as a viewer, to the comms of all the teams that Impact has been on. But if you talk to any player that has ever played with him, as he gets ganked right now, and I've cursed him, sorry, buddy.
He's just
if you talk to any player that has played with Impact, they have so much positive to say about how hard he works, his view of the game, how he can communicate that view of the game to the rest of the team, both in-game and in reviews, and helps everybody around him improve. So Impact, I think, in no small part, a huge reason why people are rating this team so high.
And now Spica throwing out the first ultimate of the game, getting the root onto 1 while this Rift Herald is the target for all. Dignitas still funneled here into the pit. Spica haven't come back after getting polymorph. The Vicla is the next target going into the backline to try and get this kill onto Armut, but he himself gives his life in the favor of Armut. Still in pursuit. Winsome flashing over the wall to try and escape Jensen right now, even with the root here. Can still come on through. Impact now trying to turn it onto Jensen himself, but the wild growth is good for the survivability.
Maybe the hubris there getting to FlyQuest, they saw too many people ranking them too highly. They wanted to take 3v4 on the top side of the map. That was still with Impact dead. Impact no teleport. So FlyQuest knew they're going into it with numbers disadvantage. They try and squeeze it out. They got really low there, but a huge, huge win for Dignitas getting right back into this one, grabbing up that Rift Herald and the extra kills. Jensen coming over, getting some money onto the Akali now is very, very important for them. See about the changes here. So again, they know what they're fighting their way into right now. This is a 3v4. Double support roams, both AD carries are bottom, and Impact is dead. Maokai has a pretty good ultimate here. Does snare 2 of them, a lot of damage inside the pit. And they think, you know, with Jensen kind of being zoned off towards mid lane, they go for the dive here, try and get the assassination. Spica with the Q onto Armut, nice little bump there. Vicla goes in to try and finish him off. They get him really low, but the shield, it was either a W shield, I believe it was his W shield, not the Lulu shield, because Lulu shield just came up there. Biofrost with the Lulu shield plus the W shield, they keep Armut alive. Jensen goes in and gets the extra kill as well. So this is what happens if you underestimate your opponents. You try and fight into situations like that, you know, with impact down. Very good job of Dignitas chaining together. Top lane gank, forcing on the Rift Herald, getting even more out of it.
Because while Dignitas will, as they try to make a play here on Vicla, Santorin coming on through, the stun up directly under the tower, able to slice on out. Ooh, close.
Yeah, nice little bit of wiggling there from Vicla himself as he's able to juke Santorin and slips out alive. Jensen will still get paid pretty heavily with this turret plate as the Rift Herald goes in. But they fail to secure the kill onto the Sylas. Dignitas, though, I love this look. Much more proactive. FlyQuest trying to start up the Dragon in response with so many resources there just spent by Dignid.
Exactly. I mean, the wiggle, the play folds, but Dignitas, you have to commend them going for that and really making sure that they're reminding everyone that they are a contender, even though FlyQuest is picking up the second dragon right now, to the knowledge of Dignitas. And I know that they're waiting on Ignar coming through, for instance, but Biofrost is a long-standing member of Dignitas, has worked with Spawn before, so it's not like someone random is getting thrown into the mix, and able to come through with some consistency so far in these moments.
Yeah, definitely agree. Dragon number 2, though, is a pretty quick pace for FlyQuest. Pick that one up. So while Dignitas, you know, getting their goal does, you know, allow them a moment of respite, you still have some big problems. Problem number 1, Prince on the Ezreal.
That's it.
Got
Prince,
that,
always problem.
Got that early money, got a very nice recall to start stacking the tier super early, and with FlyQuest getting the early dragons, you know, a fed AD carry down there is going to be a very big issue. So Essence Reaver picked up for him already. As we said, the tier was stacking really early on, so will hit that Muramana power spike with his Essence Reaver pretty quickly, and it's going to have some very, very hefty poke himself, even though Spawn is going for the lethality build with the Ghost Blade here. Varus trying to poke as well. I really, really value the extra mobility on the Ezreal.
As far as the overall game state as well, the gold itself has been pretty tight, only going up to 600 in Dig's favor at one point, but pretty much just crossing and yo-yoing over that line. So a lot of opportunities and pockets of many, but you can see Vicla, the CS, going pretty well and building towards some of this itemization. The bot laner is just coming back on through, throwing out that Q just for some additional poke. But Vicla's been the focus of a lot of Dignitas as of late. Spica's nearby, though.
Yeah, Santorin's done a very good job in this mid game, I feel like, on Sejuani. You know, Dignitas were starting to fall behind. He gets up, he makes some proactive plays towards the solo laners. Now he's trying to look to defend this bottom lane, but it looks like they've sustained too much damage. They have to get out. Too much poke has landed on Spawn. Varus very vulnerable there. Heal already used by him. All he has now to survive is his flash. And Spica kind of mirroring here on the Maokai is going to force them off again.
Heal on both sides has been gone, and Spawn without it falls. A root from the ultimate from Spica. Wild growth onto Santorin. And FlyQuest, they cannot contest any longer. This turret is still standing and no wave with them.
I think Spawn was just like, yo, this Ezreal's not that fed, right? There's no way this kills me. And then he just died without using his flash size. He was probably very shocked there. Did not expect that damage, I guess. Because Prince easily takes it. I think Prince was thinking, all right, I force his flash here, no problem. Arcane shift forward, but gets even better. Gets the kill, gets the tower afterwards. And that will be very difficult for Dignitas to come back from, I feel like. Ezreal getting another kill here, as we said, already transforms, or very close to transforming into Muramana. They just now complete the item, but yeah, jumps in. Essence Reaver has already been completed. We get a little critty, and you go down.
A nitty-gritty critty there in the fight. But that means FlyQuest, well, things we were just talking about how even it was, 2 dragons in their favor, first turret down for them over on that bot side, still have a minute and a half until we reach that soul point potential. But those little wins that they're coming through with to offset the summoners here and there that Dignitas have been able to pull are really working for them and turning a bigger picture with now a 1K gold lead.
Yeah, Armut has been working away on this top tower though. That thing is almost done. So Armut Olaf with the CS lead. Ravenous Hydra is incredibly powerful, even with 3 consecutive nerfs over preseason. Still insane value there, and so he's been effectively using it. Lots of pressure towards top side. FlyQuest looking like they will secure Rift Herald number 2 for themselves though, and try to push back on some of this tower space. Because while Dignitas also have been able to weaken and take turret plates off of mid and top, they have not been able to actually break either of those, and that does make it a little bit more difficult to get that deeper vision. As you can see on the map, so much ward control here towards the top side, especially for FlyQuest.
That ward control plus the wave state, giving that opening for FlyQuest to make that play, and now Spica with that Rift Herald in his pocket to throw down somewhere.
Dragon coming up, and Muramana transformed at 16 minutes for Prince already with his Essence Reaver. This Ezreal does a lot of damage. Nice little juke there. That was a close one. The Varus ultimate used as well. Dignitas, that Varus ultimate is kind of a key part of their team fight. Let's see how they fare in the Dragon setup.
Dragon now spawning. That was an attempt to get some picks before they go in, but Santorin throwing out the ultimate over the wall, has to retreat. So one by one, some key components of their comp being utilized for Dignitas and no longer available.
That's why we really liked in Champ Select the value of the Ezreal. When we're looking at enemy frontline, Olaf and Sejuani, really difficult time trying to pin down this Ezreal. And when you have no Sejuani or Varus ult, there's actually no way. Prince, look at him. He's arcade shifting forward over and over and over in the mid lane right now, absolutely styling on them because he can play this aggressively. No Sejul, no Varus ult, continues to throw out a bunch of poke. Rift Herald popped up. Another ult goes wide down the middle though.
The lack of mobility on Varus also seems like it highlights all the more what Ezreal can do in trying to get rid of him. But right now, this is where you throw down the Rift Herald for a bit of that distraction, because now Armut is the center of this attention. Ultimate thrown out from Spica, Vicla taking a bit of a chunk, but they just want to create this distance. They have this other tool available to them to try and draw Dignitas' attention elsewhere, even without getting the kill. They have to come through. Impact here at full though.
Pretty good chunk of damage here dealt. Vicla's got teleport, so looks like FlyQuest are making the call. Hey, Vicla, heal up in Fountain, teleport back, we go for this move. They've got a couple of wards here for him to teleport on. He goes to match Jensen in the side lane push though.
Stun onto Armut. Impact has been unleashed from the lane, and we'll see what he can do.
Another Varus ultimate does get instantly removed there by Winsome.
If FlyQuest can keep them pushed off right now. I mean, this is the point where you're throwing out tons of True Shot Barrage just for that intel to peel them off, to get that space granted, because now FlyQuest are on the Dragon. This will be soul point for them. Dignitas too far positioned to be able to collapse upon this, and FlyQuest wanting to turn it a bit back on them, looking for the opening, but Santorin's the first one to venture on forward. Teleport coming directly onto the tower, and a flash by Spawn to answer what Vicla was doing. Santorin, the subject of the wild growth, and again, just peeled away for both of the teams.
It's just so fun to watch how FlyQuest are always looking for a little bit more, because you see that play, you see the setup, and you're like, oh, with the teleport back from Vicla, they'll just be able to secure this Dragon, no problem, right? But they want more. And you can tell from Impact's positioning. While they're getting the Dragon, Impact is over here in mid lane, keeping distance with the rest of the 4 squad. They call over Vicla. He comes over with Impact to try and force a little bit more out. And while they didn't get a kill there, they got, again, both summoners off of the Varus. That low mobility carry you're talking about now will be so much more vulnerable. So they go for the Dragon, plus some very key summoner spells, you know, going for these engages. And they also got the extra teleport down. So Dignitas now themselves without a teleport on Jensen.
So if you're looking at Dignitas and who they should really be positioning to try and turn things a little more towards their favor, since FlyQuest have been steadily growing their lead, who are you looking towards? Is it Santorin continuing to set things up, or the follow-up from someone else?
I think they have to just line up behind this front line, Santorin and Armut, and just they are a steamrolling comp here. You just run right behind the Olaf and the Sejuani and go for it. Looks like they aren't going to do it. Look at the mid lane, or look at the side lanes right now. Both solos here threatening the collapse. There was Cassante here. Impact goes halfway down this mid lane. He cuts it off. Vicla was doing the same thing. He cuts it off. It means that Dignitas, they cannot full send on these plays. There's just too much threat of a collapse from the solo laners from FlyQuest for controlling the side lanes.
It's those little tiny steps forward and landing the chain of corruption, but not in the spot you need it. Coming through with the ult and answered by Spica once more. So Santorin throwing it down, gets rid of himself. That's a root onto 2 and a blast of a Lulu. Santorin on the retreat. Are gonna take this Poro and put her on a stake? Maybe. Looks like FlyQuest are ready to do it. The rest of the team backing off, and even in the jungle, Jensen just having to back and can't do anything about it.
What can they do against this Ezreal? This Ezreal is so free. There's nothing to stop him. He's arcane shifting forward, annihilating anyone in his sights, because all he has to do, dodge, make sure he doesn't get hit by a Varus ultimate, very dodgeable, a Sejuani ultimate. That's a stolen Sejuani ultimate. That's a way more difficult for a Varus to dodge than an Ezreal. So I would much rather be the Ezreal. And as long as he doesn't get hit by those two things, should be able to survive. Even, you know, Jensen on the Akali, looking for him in the back line. And with the early money, too, it's just, he can be so aggressive. So here's another look at it. Again, they're threatening for the dive on him. They want to take this very dangerous AD carry down. Santorin kind of jukes. He throws the ultimate, hits the support instead, but he's under tower, so there's no damage follow-up. And Prince says, great, you've used all your CC. Under Maokai ultimate, I can easily just jump forward, finish off your support instead. And there's the collapse from FlyQuest. We showed it on the mini-map previously in the last attempt towards mid that Dig made. This time, they actually make the trap happen. Collapse, take them off the map, take the Baron off the map. And I don't foresee Prince ever die in this game unless he jumps into the fountain. His support rushed the Mikhails, like we saw Winsome cleansing off that Varus ultimate earlier in the game. So very, very good stuff here from FlyQuest.
And FlyQuest with the Red Bull Baron buff now, they can continue to extend the pressure they have built in for themselves. Even after that prior engage, Armut was able to take that tower down bot, but it was answered by this topside push. And 3.9k gold now for FlyQuest. 600 gold bounty for Prince. The unkillable Prince thus far in this game, and as you have predicted, potentially throughout the remaining of it on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, actually, maybe we can make the game more interesting by cursing him.
Yes.
He's got a 600 gold bounty, so if he does die, if Dignitas do catch him, then that will be a huge payoff. It'll make the game way closer, way more interesting. Vicla.
Oh, Vicla, next one with the crosshairs on him. Here's all of Dignitas, a teleport coming through. Jensen, expertly empowered, is answered by going golden on the side of Vicla. Way into the backline. Impact is targeted, separated from the remainder of the team. A root and then a kill onto Santorin. Prince continuing to get stronger and stronger. Another pop goes the Weasel. Bring it on forward with the flash and heal and more. Cannot connect with the Q, but he's got the hunger in his eyes, and he knows Vicla is here to start putting them on the plate for him. Biofrost on the retreat, though. They're slapping the spawn around. They get some more damage. Double kill for Prince, and it's only Armut standing in the mid lane, but the rest of Dignitas has fallen.
Vicla with the deep teleport from downtown comes from behind Dignitas' own tower to support in the catch there for Prince, who had just run a marathon all the way across Summoner's Rift. Impact as well, just ran a marathon with Armut. Those two were not on screen the whole time. I was watching the mini-map though, a little ring around the rosy from the two top laners. In the end, neither of them die, but it is going to be a Cloud Soul picked up here for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest really bringing things together. They don't even need the Papa Smithy birthday buff. They're just good.
Yeah, but like, you know what? That's old news yesterday. We're out of here. This one's not for you, in fact, Chris.
Nah, not at all.
This one's for us.
No, for us and FlyQuest fans out there.
All right, so trying to go on to Vicla here. They do know he's got the, I believe it's already upgraded to a Zonius. Either that or the stopwatch there, but uses it to delay Then Jensen, he's back, does immediately get caught by that Maokai ult that Spica had cast up the river though, which catches 3 of them. As we said, no one can get on Prince. Like, how are you ever going to kill this Ezreal unless you use literally everything for your whole team on him? So he's free to chase. There's that deep teleport I was talking about from Vicla. Comes from behind their own tower. And just adds more insult to injury. No way for them to get out.
And off of that play, the push is looking good here on the bot side for FlyQuest. They're on the turret. They even have Vicla over towards mid lane to try and answer Armut and any crazy shenanigans he tries to do with positioning. He's been trying to find those different angles to collapse upon the enemy.
A little bit of a 1v1 here.
On him.
Not for long.
Yeah, taking the ultimate, going Ragnarok himself. Ragnarok for Ragnarok traded right there, basically. And had Spica by his side, too. Dignitas are in that. We're in our base. We're trying to hold off against these pushing waves. They do have that top side wave pushing in their favor, but it's the entirety of FlyQuest that are knocking on their door.
I like the mini game here. Where Armut's like, you know what? This game is toast. Please, let me get some 1v1s with the solo laners, at least for some fun. You know, went for his 1v1 down there with Impact for a good 30 seconds. Trying to get one with Vicla until Spica comes and ruins it. No fun.
It was supposed to be their own dinner date, not a whole like dinner party, and Spica came, but you know, in the end, Dignitas trying to put up their best effort here, but FlyQuest nearly 8k gold. They've got that soul in their pocket. They've been chunking down on these turrets as much as possible to take 7 for themselves. Jensen can escape here, but Vicla making sure to hijack that ultimate for when the time comes.
Is yours is mine. A legendary for Prince. See if he actually drops at all this game. 8 kills for himself. Giant gold bounty on his head. But unless all the stars aligned and all the skill shots hit him, looks like FlyQuest will have an easy time of setting up for this Baron. They've got a great turn too, that's the thing. It's so difficult playing against this right now, because not only can Dignitas not really dive the Ezreal and kill the main carry, they also have an easy time for FlyQuest turning on them from Baron, because Maokai has this giant AoE ultimate range to look for some engages of his own.
Yep, look at that. It covers the entirety of the battlefield, enough for the rest of the team to follow up. All of these wall growths have to be used so defensively to escort the jungler out. And FlyQuest don't pick up any kills, but still applying that pressure so they can rotate over towards Baron.
Okay, so Maokai ultimate down. Maybe there's some sort of Hail Mary here for Dignitas. Santorin does have Flash and Smite available.
Still missing
Vision.
on both sides. Digger looking for the angle to try and get some vision over here into the pit, and Vicla into the back. Spawn is the target. Spawn is the first in the grave, followed by Armut. FlyQuest making sure to push them and punish them for coming into their territory here in the jungle, here in the river. Santorin still sees the blood in Vicla's eyes, sandwiched between himself and Winsome. And FlyQuest, it's the ace for them. It's the collapse into the base.
Children, avert your eyes! It's a massacre!
FlyQuest striving to become the main characters of spring here against Dignitas, secure a 2-0 start for their 2023 season and build the hype that has been mounting. Of course, want to take a couple more kills on their way out and a little bit of meow time, but here you have it, a victory at that.
Spica's like, man, they keep leaving Maokai ultimate up. Like, I guess I play Maokai again. Fine.
If you insist, he said. But this is a very great start for Spica and the rest of the FlyQuest squad. So many pieces coming together. Can never touch that Ezreal. Prince was just on another level when it came to everyone's reach.
Yeah, very, very, very scary there. Got early money as well to fully fund it. Nice calls there on pushing off on the bottom side too. FlyQuest calling over the extra resources. Again, I really think Spica does so many little things that don't show up on the scoreboard. These Maokai saplings, tracking the enemy jungler here to make sure he can't influence the early lane for Vicla in the Sylas Akali matchup. You know, retaining control of these early objectives. Just so much done there, and yep. nicely punished there from FlyQuest. Very, very quick work.
I would love to hear the comms from FlyQuest, for instance, see how they're coming together with a lot of these little moments of decision-making for the squad. And meanwhile, for Dignitas, they have a week to prep for week number 2. They just got Armut in recently. They're still waiting on Ignar. Yep. I'm sure working on finding that identity. We saw the attempts by Santorin early to try and make those plays, but then got a little bit outpaced by FlyQuest once they weren't able to access the damage in the back line.
Exactly. That's what Dig are looking at. They just want their entire team here so they can play with the entire team, really show us what they're made of. Unfortunate sometimes when we always have to start a season dealing with those issues, getting everyone actually here, play some League of Legends, but with what they're working with, back to the drawing board, see if they can make some improvement for next week. And Prince, 10 kills. Indeed, he did not die. I also think, by the way, Winsome doing a very good job stepping in because FlyQuest also don't have their full intended roster. Winsome rushed to Mikhail's, cleansed it immediately off the Varus ultimate. Really nicely done here from them overall. No complaints.
Yeah, using the mantra-empowered abilities to really assist the rest of the team when they did need to escape or do anything of the like. And I think that's what you're looking for when someone has to slot in. It's great when you see that mindset of, okay, especially as a support, right? What can I do for you guys? What's going to be the easiest for me to slot in and just get everyone else as empowered as possible? And it worked out.
Yeah. Definitely good stuff from them. We'll see how much they can improve upon it, as the season moves on, because the top of the LCS is getting wider and wider with so many teams competing for that top spot. Offseason, we had a lot of power, I feel like, come into the LCS. So we've got, 6 rosters up there, all with dreams right now, really vying for number 1 for the championship. And it's still so early that make those dreams happen.
Again, with those changes in the offseason, the kind of collapsing in of the salaries and seeing a lot of that potency available on multiple teams, where a lot of times it's 3 or 4 is kind of where it's centralized. It's really spread across. I like a lot of the new personalities we're seeing come through because, Prince play, that's just going to be fun to watch, right?
I can't wait for the trash talk. Prince,
yes!
By the way, go check out some FlyQuest content because he's already, talking trash before he even got here. Now they've got some wins under their belt. Now he has a deathless 10-kill game. We'll see what type of stuff they are able to come up with.
Yeah, I can't wait for Prince versus Double Lift.
Definitely a good one.
Yeah, the history there, because I feel like so many players in this league and beyond consider, especially in the bot lane position, Double Lift the one that they were looking up to and really motivating them to grow and puts that target on his back for sure. Yeah.
Prince specifically said Double Lift was the one who inspired him to become an AD carry. He also had a really good line about, won't you be happy, Double Lift, that someone who you inspired to carry is the one that causes your retirement? So I was like, whoa! We'll wait for that matchup, though, when it actually happens.
Yeah, we'll hear eventually more of that trash talk. I want to hear from some players, though. So we're joining Raz, who has, what do you know? It's Prince, it's Impact for our Verizon post-game interview.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Verizon post-game interview with Prince. Welcome to North America and Impact. Hello. How's it been, Prince? How, this is just your first time here. It's kind of crazy because you got player of the split when you're in LCK, but then you come here. You have 9 kills in day 1. Yeah. You dominated today. I was about to ask you what your expectation, but what is your expectation? What is your goal here in the LCS?
너 이해했어? 마지막만. 오케이. 그러니까 너가 LCK에서도 그 세컨 그 원딜로 잘하고 그리고 이번에 첫날에도 9킬하고 이번에도 잘했잖아. 네. 그거에 대해서 그리고 이번에 LCS 그러니까 와서 골이 뭐냐? 그러니까 너의 목표가 뭐냐?
Of course, goal is win and be untouchable AD. Yes. And go world stage like MSI and Worlds and good.
Showing good performance.
Yeah, showing good performance.
Yes. That's what I love to see. And it's been showing. It's been showing. And for me, I guess the question is, you guys are a new team. You guys haven't really worked together until this point, right? What I would say is what do you like about this team so far? What do you think is the best part about this team that you've just recently started working with?
그러니까 그 새로운 팀 멤버고 새로운 팀이잖아. 네. 그래서 그러니까 이 팀에 와서 뭐가 엄청 좋은지 가장.
And remember, Impact is right next to you.
I told her yesterday with our manager. First is when we meet first. Impact and Song very seriously mindset about league and how can make more strong team.
Yes.
And so I don't worry and only focus my ability. So everyone is good. Just food is little not good for me.
You gotta show him some good spots, Impact.
Yeah, I mean, he came from Korea now, so he need to try new thing. But we are stuck in the office, you know, only
true.
delivery food. So I hope today night we get good. I hope we get good food.
No pressure on the management. And so, actually, just wanted to know, new FlyQuest fans, there's plenty with you on the team and Prince. Like, what message do you want to show to the fans out there that want to know more about Prince, want to know more about you?
Wait, I didn't got it. Give me a
Okay,
second.
yeah. What's a message that Prince has for the fans out there? Just know more about him. Or even just like for what he wants to do for the split.
그러니까 이번 스플릿에 뭘 보여주고 싶고 그리고 뭐 팬들한테 뭘 보여주고 싶냐 이런 느낌으로 말한 것 같은데 그렇게 말했어.
You said I dominate 1 and 2 day, but it just start. So I show more stronger play and more physically. So enjoy.
There it is. And I can't not ask you a question, Impact. I have to.
I come to hear translation, no?
But yeah, multi-talented.
Yeah, you can ask. What do you want?
All right. I want to ask you like what your personal goal is, because you just came in from Evil Geniuses, right? Like into a new team, immediately already successful, and you had that insane GP game yesterday and a great game today. Like, what is your personal goal with this team and for yourself?
To me, myself is doing. Of course, everybody can say doing well.
Yeah.
And in World and MSI, but my goal is actually especially like for Vigna and Prince. I want they learn a lot of like game thing, everything from me, and so if we even hit their back to HK, they can play well. You know, I don't want like people saying that NA is bad too. You know, if you go back in NA, or you're gonna retire or you'll play for money. I really doesn't want to hear. So that's my job. It's my responsibility for, you know, Vigna and Prince come to here. So I will do my best for my teammate.
It's already looking good right now, don't you guys think? That's what I love to hear. Thank you guys a lot for this interview. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more. For now, we're going to go straight to the analyst. Thank you guys.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
it's done?
The Raz with the new notebook meta on
I
the
know.
interview.
Like, who thought that you should hold it upside down so you can check it?
Get that man some note cards.
Well, what he was initially doing, it looked like his arm was like fully twisted all the way around.
He looked to check a question
like reading it like this.
It was interesting. We're going to move ahead, though, and pull up our Samsung SSD Fast 5 for the week. A reminder for those of you at home that Samsung has partnered with Sleeper and Fantasy LCS, and you can now earn bonus points each week for correctly predicting the fastest performers. Congrats to those of you at home who claimed that reward this week. What's jumping out to you guys?
Yeah, put some consequence on that Fast 5. Probably the Prince 47-second first blood. It's not the fastest in LCS history, but...
I mean, the next closest at Yon at 3 minutes.
Unless Nautilus comes back in meta and you can run straight down mid and kill Jizuke again.
Yeah.
That was this game right here, so that's tops for me. And then I think the item transformation is just so much faster than it was last split, mainly because of the proliferation of range supports.
You also kind of have to shout out Tenacity. Some of that is the matchup from today, I assume, with the Renekton. But obviously, he was doing a lot of initiation for his team. And I know his scorer line might not necessarily reflect it. But I thought they were doing a good job of balancing like when he would go in, even if he did die, capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I thought Summit as well, kind of picking up where he left off. Great laning performances early on, getting some CS leads, feeding his face off afterwards, getting chain ganked.
Yeah, now
unlucky.
I know it's gone now, but I'm looking at it. River being the fastest level 6 is also pretty surprising to me because he was so gank focused pretty much every time he played Jarvan, which was every time. And him actually having a fast level 6 path is pretty surprising of all 10 LCS junglers.
I also thought he did a good job covering Young. I thought Young actually, I know that they did lose their games, but I thought Young stepped up and performed well.
Get in here, Raz.
Raz is sneaking in
Raz
here.
is trying to run in
camera shot.
He was trying to run in front of the single instead of.
You just get in there. Once again, I know that's like a difficult position for him to step into, right? And I thought even though obviously they didn't end up winning, I wanted to give him a shout out for his performances.
Raz, do me a favor and read from this book.
Yeah, what is going on with this?
How would you hold this book if you're going to read?
I have no idea.
Did you even know what you're doing on stage? How you're holding your notebook?
No, I don't.
I mean, I'll show you.
It was like
It was fascinating.
convoluted.
It worked. Like
Yes?
it actually worked for you, but you held it open, and then you checked your notes like this.
Oh.
I've never seen anyone do this.
Raz is
in
just a
life.
natural. He's just
Interview
innovative.
us, Raz,
You're just
now.
like, so next question. I was like, what is it? It was
Hey,
wild.
it worked. It was effective.
It was a good interview.
Yeah.
It was a great
good. It was
interview,
good.
yeah.
I think it's just easy with Impact and Prince. Prince actually just was excited. He actually wanted to talk about the song. They did it with Amelie.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe next time. He's definitely excited for that one.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to take a minute to recap this weekend a little bit, starting out with the biggest surprise for each of us for week one. We'll start with Emily and just maybe make our way down.
All right, so I'm going to shout out TSM Boogie. He might not have been a surprise to people like Nymera, who I know have been talking him up.
He's in every Reddit thread, Twitter thread.
Yeah, so shout out to him, who saw Boogie in LJL, but he started his career in LJL, has won titles in LMS and LJL, and I thought he had some strong performances for TSM. And talking to Chime, I thought it was interesting that he even called out, like, you know, the support and jungler are supposed to have really good communication. We're working on it, but we already are having a similar way of like how to approach the game. And so I thought it was cool to see that from Boogie, a player that people might not have known until, you know, this week.
Yeah, mine is, I have two. So if I
This guy
steal,
Yeah,
well,
okay.
I'm only going to do one of them because I'm pretty sure they're going to be common. It's TSM being 2-0, but then also TL being 0-2.
Yeah.
So you snipe mine.
Which,
my 0-2.
Which one do you want me to?
You take the TSM. Well, we can just talk about both. You go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had TSM 10th. I think we showed the power rankings at the start of the week. No one had them above
Ninth, I don't
Ninth.
think. I think a lot of people
maybe
had
someone
ninth.
had them 8th. I remember that.
Fans might have had them 8th.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, 8th was all Golden Guardians, so they were always 9th or 10th.
Yes.
And yes, they did have their first game against Immortals, who was the other team they were swapping 9th and 10th on. And then you can make the argument that, hey, it was just this best of one against Team Liquid, but they also didn't look, like to me, it didn't look like the other teams were necessarily running it down against them. They were fairly well coordinated. You already mentioned Boogie playing quite well. So, like, I'm pretty surprised about it because I wasn't expecting hardly anything from TSM.
So I was wrong, obviously, with my prediction because I put them 9th. But in my blame game, when I was talking about them, I said I can see a world where this team actually does make playoffs and is a little bit better than we're giving them credit for by playing this slow late game style with like Ornn, weak side top, scaling bot lanes for the most part. And they're not full scaling. Like they played Elise in that one game that you're talking about where Boogie looked really good, but they pick still more scaling their opponent. Like they weren't full scaling, but their enemy team was Draven, you know? And then they were able to punish that later on in the game. So I think that they do have this identity. Maple looks incredible on Azir still. Ornn, weak side, top side, as I was saying. So I saw this like world. I kind of Doctor Stranged it, but I didn't actually bet on it happening.
Yeah, and the Talia game I thought was really good for Maple. That was the one question that I had for this team was like, who is your playmaker? Because you lose tactical, who they funneled a lot of resources into. And it could be Neo, but you know, one of these players had to step up, and it really felt like Neo had some good games, especially Maple. So that's a big surprise. I share that one. For me, it was CLG.
Yep.
The cult is right. And I remember you said it actually really well, where everything about this last year tells you this team is going to be good. But then when you see the roster changes, I had them as 6th, mostly because how can you go against TL with the roster pickups that they had? It looks legitimate, and I still think it is legitimate. I think they just had a bad week, period. You know, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, there's quite a EG. There are just a lot of teams that I think made big changes. And I think CLG has come out quite strong. What do you have? What are you holding up on now,
Man,
Chad?
like, because I knew I was wrong when I did it, but I still couldn't not do it.
Yeah.
Like putting CLG 7th, because surely continuity matters.
Yeah.
And in the interview, they said that like Palafox said the honeymoon phase they didn't have.
Yeah.
So they're just calling each other trash all offseason in scrims. But like apparently that was good for them. And when every year we see every team make a lot of roster changes.
Yeah.
And it usually results in the same thing once they are done gelling.
Yeah.
So surely just keeping the same 5 together will make them better than last year. And they were top half in the summer split.
It's Schrodinger's team, because if you start to believe in them, they suddenly become bad. So if we had all said they're a top 5 team, they wouldn't have been. But because
also,
we all said they weren't, they are.
Yeah. But the advertising from all the other teams was just stronger.
They put out one meme video and you didn't buy it?
Yeah, they just advertised so much better. Like, oh, look, we brought in, like, especially FlyQuest, their advertising.
Yeah.
Which I didn't fall for, but I still put them above CLG, which they probably are. TL's advertising was strong. Korea work hard.
The thing that's super interesting about CLG to me was that thing that you already brought up that Palafox said. But then additionally, I felt like last year and I know other people have made this comparison. I might have also already made this comparison, but they reminded me a lot of Live Sandbox in the LCK, which is, for people that don't know, Prince's former team.
They weren't that good.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is their role in the LCS last year, I think, was they had this really super early first blood time, right? They were rotating Palafox out of lane with contracts, ganking bot, and that was kind of their identity, and they forced other teams to kind of have to deal with that. Like, they forced them to have to deal with a little bit of a different playstyle. They brought out that look with the Akali Yone, right? And that was something that people were then forced to reckon with. And I thought that was really cool because I think it did force other teams to pay attention to them enough, and the whole league is better for having CLG in it last year. With this year, I think it's really interesting talking to Palafox about how he said, I think you can see from this game today, even though it was obviously pretty rough, like back and forth, we're gonna sit and kind of wait for our scaling to kick in for a little bit. He said, I think you can see from this game today some of the things we learned in the offseason, and he came out feeling pretty good about it, which was very interesting to me, given my perception of CLG's kind of role in the league previously.
Yeah, and saying last year's CLG wouldn't have won the game today.
Exactly.
Which they were able to come back in.
Mine, I'll go quick on Team Liquid. It was a surprise. I had a lot more faith in them. They went 0-2. They did it against FlyQuest, who didn't have their starting support, and TSM, who pretty much everyone unanimously was power ranking over them. They didn't look great as they did it either. It wasn't just like one big oopsie in the early game that snowballed. They had some leads. They kind of threw them. They played a little slow sometimes. Like, it just wasn't a great look. And I was really happy about this team. The work ethic approach they were going for, they seemed to be in high spirits. And like, this is just a disappointing 0-2 that they're going to have bounce back from somehow.
Yeah, and it's a little weird for me because I had just heard about how good they were in scrims.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if it's an element of best of one shock, stage shock.
Yeah.
The back-to-back Proving Ground champions like Jan and Harry have done amazingly playing from the facility for 2 years.
Yeah.
And coming here is definitely different when you're playing with 2 world champions in Summit. So I'm hoping that it's an aberration for them because I do think they work hard and I think they have good players.
I agree with you. And I think there are 2 things that I would just look out for as like long-term maybe problems for the team. First one's just a question on Harry and P06 like 2v2 and how they actually work alongside each other. That was a question I had for Evil Geniuses when Jojo Pun first came on the scene. I think they really worked on it and got much better at it. With Team Liquid, that's just something that immediately I can see problems in and how they coordinate the gank. The Vi, dive, under turret, that's the first one that comes to mind, but there's a few. The second one is just like Summit at times dying in side lanes, which is like rearing its head.
Playoff form.
He's in playoff form already, baby. Wins lane phase, dies 4 times in side lane.
Like one of them was a legitimate Ash cross map. So like that one,
he
you
was
get a
still
pass.
going under turret with like
the other one. Oh yeah, that one was unfortunate. I guess he got hit by Ash too many times.
A few times.
Yeah, too many times. So those are the 2 things that I think, okay, those could be long-term issues if they don't really nip it in the bud and can really create problems. The rest of them, I think, okay, like the first game got outscaled, happens. You move on forward. So I don't think they should put too much weight in the rest of that for their team.
All right, moving on to standout newcomer. Could be a rookie, could be someone who's come over from another region. I'll go first since I went last time. Prince!
Yeah, nailed it. Sorry. I hate you.
Who's not excited about this guy? My favorite part of that last game was actually not any of his kills. It was mid lane when he just broke their ankles for like a minute, being like, whoops, bye Sej ult, whoops, bye Varus ult, and just kept poking them out. Like, that's the kind of stuff I love to see, like from Ruler back in the day when he was on Ezreal, just like shifting forward, being so aggressive and just forcing you to react to him. And you saw that from Prince there, and that's just like, this team isn't even at their final form yet, and they already look so good.
It's insane. He had perfect CS. He was playing incredibly well in bot lane. I mean, that's just something we kind of expected.
I love the interview that we heard from Prince simply because like he was talking about how he just liked the fact that people around him were serious. That's what he really wanted. And the takeaway that Impact also said is like, I just want the people to know that like, yeah, this can be like a serious environment. That it's not, you're coming in North America. It's not like a retirement thing. And he loves the team that he's on. They're succeeding right now, sure. It's just the first 2 games, so he's not getting too ahead of himself. That's what it seems like. So the attitude, I feel like, is perfect for success.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback off that because mine is Vicla. Obviously, he's not going to top Prince, but I think you got a sense of how hungry he can be to make plays from, diving under turret, the deep TP. I really love this kid. I think he's super, super talented ever since he kind of came in, subbed for Arya, and helped kind of bring the KT team he was on to the next level. So I did want to give him a shout out because he's obviously going to be overshadowed by his other teammate that also came over from the LCS.
But he set him up a lot. There were a lot of those Vicla feeding Prince kills kind of plays. What about you for Dark Horse? Dark Horse?
Dark Horse.
Oh, not Dark Horse, excuse me. Breakout player, best new player.
You're not going to like my answer.
Okay.
I think this 80 carry that 100 Thieves has found.
Oh, God.
You're a troll.
He's got a future.
You're just a troll.
Yeah.
You know what?
He hadn't played in the LCS in 2021 or 2022.
He's not a newcomer.
What's the statute of limitations on being
a newcomer?
A newcomer.
I think you expire after 3 years. He only got to 2.
He was close.
He was close.
He was close, and he's looked pretty good. Like, for me, if you don't play for 2 years...
If Cutie Pie came back, I would count him as a newcomer? Yeah, as a newcomer.
No, this is a fraudulent answer, but I do want to shout out that it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And he's actually looked pretty good.
Yeah. I'll go towards Jan. Even though I think the first week is not the best look for Team Liquid as a whole, I think he had a great Lucian game that kept him in it. Actually, the Blippo interview was a good indication of that, and also Double-If made the call out there too.
Yeah.
Like, we saw what he looked like when he came in during lock-in, earlier, when they were having visa issues with Hansama and, specifically Core JJ. But, so I just really enjoyed the fact that he's able to come in, play. We know his skill level. We know that he's really driven, and I'm just excited genuinely to see him playing alongside Core JJ and hopefully getting a few more wins next week.
Definitely looking forward to see what happens next week. Before we get there, though, one final thing. Your MasterCard Player of the Week is... Fudge!
Oh, whoa, that's a sick picture of him.
What the hell?
I mean, he had an absolutely incredible performance this weekend. Straight on the money, 1,000 DPM in Game 2. Almost the double-double, 10 kills, 9 assists, only a single death. 2 deaths across the weekend. Wow. Both almost 20 KDA games back-to-back. He's almost averaging 20 KDA.
Those are really good stats.
Bonkers numbers.
The 19.5 KDA, 3 solo kills.
It is on both K'Sante games, to be fair.
Listen, this happens. Like, when a champion is strong, the people that are able to play the champion best succeed, right? And Fudge has actually been a player who doesn't necessarily have a defined style, right? When they won the split last year, he was Fiora, Aatrox, skill matchupping, but he also was able to play the new tanks. Like, this is a guy who just learns really fast. Yeah, and I think being able to do that on a new champion and have the most mastery over it is a deserving win.
I agree. I mean, the solo kill that he had top lane, the 3-man knockup that he had in this fight. There was actually another one yesterday versus 100 Thieves in the red side jungle where he had another like exceptional team. He's just a great team fighter. He's somebody that's really just gotten better over the years, and so it's nice to see him. Obviously abusing K'Sante, but I mean, even if he's on a different champion, he's going to perform damn well. Okay, there it is. there it is. Thank you, Fudge.
He just wants to play a new champ. He doesn't want to be labeled a one trick.
Yes, he does.
Sure.
All right, let's take a look at the standings after this first week. A number of teams at 2-0. I think surprising for a lot of us to see TSM and CLG up there. FlyQuest and Cloud9, not too much of a surprise. 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses at 1-1, and Dignitas, GG, Immortals, and Team Liquid at 0-2.
We also didn't touch upon them, but briefly, like EG as the team kind of coming in, another favorite alongside FlyQuest, I think, in all of our standings. Having a 1-1 week with 2 kind of rough games, in my opinion, in terms of like expectations of what we expect from EG. I'm not worried about them. I just wanted to call out that they definitely didn't have like this strong 2-0 performance I think we might have been expecting.
2 teams that I am worried for. Dignitas and Golden Guardian. Specifically Dignitas, I mean, we are excited and, for Santorin and Jensen on this team alongside Armut. I think they were unlucky when it came to visas. Armut just flew in, so like they're able to have him. But like, still, this is a really rough start. So that's one thing I'm looking out for going into the next week. Golden Guardians, another visa issue with Gory. They had a really close game day one, but hate to see that they're still, I don't even know how long, did they say how long it's going to take for Gory to come in? I don't think I've heard anything on that.
I haven't heard of visa updates.
Yeah, I haven't.
So that's going to be tough, but I still liked Young's day one and the early game in day two. I think that he's been a surprise for us.
I gotta say, like, people have been down on the LCS last few years. If you see Cloud9, CLG, and TSM at the top of the LCS, Golden Age?
2015
coming
back?
There it is. I mean, if it stays like that, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of fans coming back.
All right, let's take a look at next week's schedule, kicking off with the 2-0 CLG versus the 2-0 Cloud9.
Hey!
FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians, Dignitas versus 100 Thieves, Immortals versus Team Liquid, EG versus TSM to round out Thursday, starting at 2 p.m.
All right.
You somehow missed that memo.
If TL doesn't win that game, they have problems.
You're burning your jersey?
I mean, they have to win that game. That's the most must-win game of all the games.
Probably is. We'll have to see if they can do it. Before we go, remember that LEC and NA Challengers Week 2 starts tomorrow. And that's it. Bye.
Take it easy, guys.
Thank you.
You like that sign-off?
Why don't we watch there's more stuff, right?
Wait.
Rebroadcast.
It's on the prompter. I'm not reading it.
Oh, I hit it.
Holy crap! You've never done that?
I spell ICUP. You remember that joke or no?
No, I didn't have jokes in English, bro, when I was in school. And you can see he hit level 6. He wanted to kill that minion to get it, but now in the bottom lane, it's EG making the dive.
Total burger flip. We'll love to see it. Lulu comes on. Here he is.
Over the wall. It's Varus. Neither jungler gets the smite. Contracts engages. Jojo's gonna be your target. He's low. He pops the Zonia's, trying to buy a little bit more time. Contracts lines up the Arctic Assault. Fired on Palafox. He's using his own stasis, but Inspired won't be able to get the damage. CLG killed everybody. It's a triple or a big dose. Decide to do this as River makes his way into the top side, and they'll look for a 2v1 against Fudge. Oh! And he's all in.
Wait, give me let me get a kill. I need MVP, please. Please. One MVP for my entire life. I beg of you.
His entire life?
My entire life, one MVP. Thank you.
Fudge is just working on minions. He's farming while the rest of the team's fighting. Now he jumps in. Young wants it. He's not going to get a whole lot, I don't think. He tries to dash back around and heal up. Berserker gets the kill as Licorice drops the double over to Berserker. C9 clean house from day 2.
Boogie, could you translate my talk when we in the game, okay? Translate for me.
We might not have an Ash Arrow at all, my friend. Chime. Oh, wow. Clutch save there from Neo. Harry's going to look for the end anyway, and he finds it, jumps right back to his Shuriken in the smoke.
It's not to say they can't block it. It's going to stay.
Oh, what a good shot, man. My God.
Into the back line he goes, but should be getting burned. Revenge manages to survive, but stunned on the outset. Look at that ultimate coming on through with the Empress Divide. Ablaze Olaf into some trouble. Wild was both targeted on Tactical, but it cannot keep him up. Double Lift doing way too much damage, and they aren't there anymore. Because guess what? 2 of them died. Flash forward from Tactical to try to get an escape, but look at that damage coming out of Double Lift. Said I got you. I'm gonna go this way. Go get my AD carry. Don't come this way. I'm just Lulu. But he's got the hunger in his eyes, and he knows Vicla is here to start putting them on the plate for him. Biofrost on the retreat, though. They're slapping the spawn around. They get some more damage. Double kill for Prince. And Vicla into the back. Spawn is the target. Spawn is the first in the grave, followed by Armut. FlyQuest making sure to push them and punish them for coming into their territory here in the jungle, here in the river. Santorin still sees the blood in Vicla's eyes, sandwiched between himself and Winsome. And FlyQuest, it's the ace for them. It's the collapse into the base.